وآل محمد.
اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم قل هو اللہ احد اللہ الصمد لم یلد ولم یولد ولم یکن له کفوا احد صدق اللہ العلی العظیم. اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد. مومنین کرام، آج بروز بدھ 14 اکتوبر اور 26 صفر آج سے 4 روزہ مجالس عزا کا انعقاد ہو رہا ہے بسلسلہ شہادت حضرت امام حسن مجتبیٰ علیہ السلام و رسول اکرم حضرت محمد مصطفیٰ صلی اللہ علیہ وآلہ وسلم. اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد. ان مجالس سے ہمارے ٹورنٹو سے آئے ہوئے وزٹنگ اسکالر مولانا سید حسن مجتبیٰ رضوی صاحب اسپیچ کریں گے اور اسپیچز انگلش میں ہوں گی، اور یہ روزانہ ٹھیک 7 بجے نماز مغرب کے فوراً بعد 7:30 بجے پروگرام سٹارٹ ہوگا. آج کی مجلس کی سلام کے لیے میں ملتمس ہوں محسم رضا سے آئیں اور مجلس میں سلام پیش کریں. بار دیگر بلندتر صلوات. صلی علی محمد وآل
محمد وآل محمد صلوات. آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین، آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین. تیرا چہرہ تیری آنکھیں بھول کب پائی حسین، آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین. چلتے ناکے سے گرایا خود کو جلتی ریت پر، چلتے ناکے سے گرایا خود کو جلتی ریت پر، گھٹنیوں کے بل میں تیری لاش تک آئی حسین، آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین. بس میں گھبرائی تھی خنجر تجھ پہ چلتا دیکھ کر، بس میں گھبرائی تھی خنجر تجھ پہ چلتا دیکھ کر، پھر کسی مشکل میں گھر کے میں نہ گھبرائی حسین، آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین۔ کون تھا جو مرنے والوں میں نہیں تھا خوب رو؟ کون تھا جو مرنے والوں میں نہیں تھا خوب رو؟ بھولنے بیٹھی تو کس کس کی نہ یاد آئی حسین، آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین۔ بہہ رہے تھے آنکھ سے آنسو تیری رخصت کے وقت، بہہ رہے تھے آنکھ سے آنسو تیری رخصت کے وقت، پھر کوئی آنسو نہ ٹپکا آنکھ پر ترائی حسین، آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین۔ تیرا چہرہ تیری آنکھیں بھول کب پائی حسین، آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین۔ بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات۔
آل محمد وعجل فرجهم۔ آج بھی آتی ہے زینب کی صدا بھائی حسین۔ جزاکم اللہ میں سب کی صحت سلامتی کے لیے بلند تر صلوات۔ اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔ Imam Hassan ﷺ said, teach others your knowledge and learn the knowledge of others, so you will bring your knowledge to perfection and learn something which you do not know. Par Muhammad wa ali Muhammad bulantar salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali. اب میں ملتمس ہوں برادر محمد رضا ان ساتھیوں سے آئیں اور مرثیہ پیش کریں، بار دیگر بلندتر صلوات۔ صلی علی محمد و آل محمد وعجل فرجهم۔ صلی علی محمد و آل محمد وعجل۔ بار دیگر سبق۔
اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد وعجل
خانہ کعبہ سا کوئی گھر نظر آتا نہیں، خانہ کعبہ سا کوئی گر نظر آتا نہیں، اور مکی کوئی بجو حیدر نظر آتا نہیں، خانہ کعبہ سا کوئی، اے نبی دینے کو دے دیجئے جسے چاہے اللہ، اے نبی دینے کو دے دیجئے جسے چاہے اللہ، ان میں کوئی فاتح خیبر نظر آتا نہیں، خانہ کعبہ سا کوئی، اے بتو جھک جاؤ سا دیکھو اسی میں خیر ہے، اے بتو جھک جاؤ سا دیکھو اسی میں خیر ہے، کون ہے دوش پیامبر پر نظر آتا نہیں، خانہ کعبہ سا کوئی، ہے جوان بیٹے کا غام بے نور آنکھیں ہو گئی، ہے جوان بیٹے کا غام بے نور آنکھیں ہو گئی، شاہدی کو لاش اکبر نظر آتا نہیں، خانہ کعبہ سا کوئی، گود خالی دیکھ کر مادر کے سورا نے کہا، گود خالی دیکھ کر مادر کے سورا نے کہا، کیا ہوا اماں میرا اصغر نظر آتا نہیں، خانہ کعبہ سا کوئی،
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجہ۔
سورہ فاتحہ۔ قید سے اسیر رہا ہو گئے تمام، جب قید سے اسیر رہا ہو گئے تمام، قبر سکینہ پر گئے روتے ہوئے امام، ماتم کو ناتے ساتھ میں اہل حرم تمام، آہستہ آ رہی تھی رباب خستہ گاں، آہستہ آ رہی تھی رباب خستہ گاں، چھوٹی سی قبر سامنے نظروں کے پھر گئی، ایک آسد کھینچ کے مرقد پہ گر گئی، ایک آسد کھینچ کے مرقد پہ گر گئی، بولی اٹھو کہ قافلہ تیار ہو چکا، جانا ہے وطن کو تمہارا یہ قافلہ، بیٹا تمہیں رہائی کا ارمان تھا بڑا، جب تم نہیں تو گھر سے مجھے واسطہ ہے کیا، جب تم نہیں تو گھر سے مجھے واسطہ ہے کیا، تیرے بغیر گھر کو میں ہرگز نہ جاؤں گی، بن کر فقیر قبر پر آنسو بہاؤں گی، بن کر فقیر قبر پہ آنسو بہاؤں گی، روتے ہوئے لحظ سے حرام اٹھ کھڑے ہوئے، بولی رباب جاتی ہوں حکم امام سے، رو کر کہا یہ زینب عالی مقام نے، قربان جاؤں شکوہ نہ کی جو حسین سے، قربان جاؤں شکوہ نہ کی جو حسین سے، اہل شام واسطہ رب کریم کا، پیچھے خیال رکھنا ہمارے یتیم کا، پیچھے خیال رکھنا ہمارے یتیم کا، القصہ پہنچے کرب و بلا میں یہ نوحگر، زینب تڑپ کے گر گئی بھائی کی قبر پر، اس طرح بہن کرتی تھی وہ سوختہ جگر، بھابھی کی گود اجڑ گئی بھیا کرو نظر، بھابھی کی گود اجڑ گئی بھیا کرو نظر، تم کو خبر ہم پہ جو آفت گزر گئی، قید ستم میں بال سکینہ بھی مر گئی، قید ستم میں بال سکینہ بھی مر گئی، بھیا تمہارے بعد وہ آفت پڑی ادھر، اصغر کا سر بھی کاٹ لیا قبر کھود کر، خنجر گلے پہ جب وہ چلاتا تھا بدگوہر، ہم دیکھتے تھے اور پھٹا جاتا تھا جگر، ہم دیکھتے تھے اور پھٹا جاتا تھا جگر، یہ دیکھ کر رباب کی حالت باتی، آنکھوں سے اشک بہتے تھے اور لب پہ آتی، آنکھوں سے اشک بہتے تھے اور لب پہ آتی، سر لے کے جب شقی وہ وہاں سے چلا گیا، دوڑی لباب گود میں لاشا اٹھا لیا، اور چومتی تھی حلقے بریدہ کو بارہا، وہ بہن تھے کہ سب کا کلیجہ ہلا دیا، وہ بہن تھے کہ سب کا کلیجہ ہلا دیا، نالے ہی کرتے کرتے وہ خاموش ہو گئی، لاشا لیے وہ گود میں بے ہوش ہو گئی، لاشا لیے وہ گود میں بے ہوش ہو گئی، جب قید سے اسیر
صلی علی محمد، जज़ाकुमुल्लाह खैर शबीर भाई, रज़ा भाई और रियाज भाई, सबकी तौफ़ीक़ात के लिए बुलंदतर सलवात। हुमा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद। Mu'mineen and Mu'minat, on behalf of Hussaini Association of Calgary, we would like to thank Maulana Sayyid Hassan Mujtaba Rizvi, who has arrived in Calgary, who is with us right now and who has accepted our invitation to be here during these auspicious, special commemoration days of the martyrdom anniversary of Hazrat Hassan Mujtaba alayhi salatu wasalam and Rasul Akram Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The Hussaini Association of Calgary has organized a 4-day majalis starting from today till Saturday. The majalis will be held daily in the evening and the speeches will be in English. I would request all the brothers from the different communities to benefit from these majalis for the speeches of Aga Hassan Mujtaba Rizvi and bring your youth, kids to these majalis. And if by any reason you could not attend these majalis, you can watch us live through hack streaming. And once again, thank you Maulana Sayyid Hassan Mujtaba Rizvi Sahab for accepting our invitation and to visit us and join us on these special days. Couple announcements. Some of the brothers and sisters who are not feeling well due to COVID-19 or other ailments, please include them in your du'as, especially Sister Nasreen Azaz, Maulana Najmul Hassan Rizvi, and Dr. Akhlaq Zaidi, and who may ever know that who are not feeling well, say Allah salawat for their well-being. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal farajum. न पूछ कैसे कोई शह मशरक़ें बना, बशर का नाज नबूवत का नूर ऐन बना, अली का खून लाबे रसूल शेर बतूल मिले ही अनासिर तो फिर हुसैन बना. Without any delay, I would like to request Maulana Sayyid Hassan Mujtaba Rizvi Sahab to come on the pulpit and deliver the speech. But Muhammad wa ali Muhammad bulantar salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا رحمة للعالمين أبي القاسم محمد والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. اللهم قل لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. All praise and glory belongs to Allah, the creator of this universe, the one who has decided out of his decree that he was going to create this universe out of his most predominant quality, which is love. And through this love, the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showered upon the whole creation. And there isn't a moment in time that this love and mercy is not being showered on his creation. It is up to us that how much we have our capacity that we can feel the love and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because His mercy is not stopping. If you're not able to feel the love or the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, It's not because it's not there, it's because we don't have perhaps the capacity to be able to receive it. In the next 4 hours or so that I'm going to be with you, just to organize our thoughts and maybe a few expectations of what we're going to talk about. A question which has been asked quite a few times, and I think every one of us have this in their mind, is what is spirituality? So there are different definitions that are given, there are different things that are in our minds, and perhaps in the next 4 hours we can try to organize some of those things and get to a better understanding of what is spirituality. Since the days of Imam Hussaini's commemoration, and the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, since these days are here, I just want to remind myself and to you that it's not just about commemoration. Okay? It's not just about us coming together. It's not just about listening to the speech or participating in the Marsiya or the Noha or the Matam of Imam Hassan or Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's not just about that. Okay? On the Day of Judgment, if I was to get you there, imagine that there is a scale in which all of our deeds, our character or personality, whatever we have ever said or done, right? Whatever namaz we have read, whatever fasting we have done, whichever hajj or ziyarah that we have done, whichever dua kumel or dua nudba or the ziyarat that we have recited, whatever tasbih that we have done, okay? Whatever way we have stopped ourselves from doing something haram and motivated ourselves to do something good. All of that, you know how it is going to be measured? The measuring scale is going to be our Masumin al-Musa. And let it simmer in your mind. Your namaz is going to be measured in which scale? In the scale of the namaz of Imam Hassan. Your wudu is going to be measured in which scale? In the wudu of Imam Hassan. Your hajj is going to be measured of the hajj of Imam Hassan. All of human beings' actions, to define it whether they're good or not, whether they're acceptable or not, what is the quality of those actions, all of human beings, that includes the Anbiya as well, all of their actions are going to be measured in the scale which is the Holy Prophet. Our namaz are not going to be measured, wasn't my namaz measured with your namaz. Which namaz is good? Okay. Or namaz of, for example, such and such person and yours, which one is good? It's going to be measured. The scale is going to be the Holy Prophet. I'm a Masumin. Let's say you have sabr, you have patience, right? We're talking about character too now. You have patience or you have hilm, forbearance, okay? With whose hilm and whose forbearance is this going to be measured? That is Imam Hassan. I think either we have not been told or we have forgotten. It's either of the two. Either nobody ever told me that, your character, your worship, right? Everything you say, everything you do, your whole life, the measuring scale that it is going to be measured is going to be Imam Hussain alayhi salatu. Maybe that's the case. But if you think about it logically, here you have a good deed. Here you have an action that you've performed. How to tell if it's good or bad? Right? How to say that this action is good or bad? When you go to university, in order for you to pass the exam, there is an exam prepared, and with that examination that is prepared, all of the students are being judged. Right? If a different paper comes, then all of the students are going to be judged by that paper, that exam paper. When we are here and we live our life, what is the position of Imam Hussain alayhi in our lives? It's not more than just an ideology. That we believe in Imam Hussain alayhi, his martyrdom we will commemorate, on the birth we will celebrate. What else is the place of Imam Hussain alayhi in our lives? Like, what did you get from Imam Hussain alayhi? You believe in him, yes, you got this, right? You believe that he is an imam, yes, we have that. We believe that he is the successor of the Holy Prophet, we got that. We believe that Imam Hussain alayhi, like with all of his piety, with all of his knowledge, with all of his work, he was a great man, he was a perfect human being. We know that. But other than that, how in your life and my life, what did we get from Imam Hussain alayhi? What is that one characteristics that you have, right, photocopied on the characteristic of Imam Hussain? One quality. That the reason why I have this quality of forbearance is because I have photocopied this quality of forbearance from the forbearance of Imam Hussain alayhi. If I have generosity, how do you know that something which is, let's say, generosity, from where did I get it? Who inspired me to be generous? Where am I getting the inspiration? For example, if you become a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, you're going to look back and you're going to say, this particular teacher inspired me for me to become an accountant or a lawyer or a doctor. In what thing in our lives has Imam Hussain inspired us? What is the inspiration that we got from Imam Hussain alayhi? I'm asking, it's for me too, for you too. That him being our Imam, what did he inspire in me? That I can say that because of Imam Hussain alayhi, I am such and such. The majority of our minds are blank. If somebody was to come up to you and say to you, who's your teacher? You say, Imam Hussain. Imam Hussain is my teacher. What did he teach you? Can you tell me something that he taught you? But then Imam Hussain alayhi one tradition. Tell me one tradition from Imam Hussain. Just one. If I was to stay quiet and just have you just, it's okay. I can stay quiet for half an hour and time will go by. If I stay quiet for half an hour and I wait for you to tell me one saying of Imam Hussain, then I will not speak further until you tell me one hadith saying of Imam Hussain alayhi. And I can stay quiet. This was only 1 minute. The awkward silence that we faced, right? This was 1 minute. Imagine standing on the day of judgment, which calculates to be 50,000 years in that lineup. This was only 1 minute. And this should have been easier, because before I got on the minbar, in English, it was told that Imam Hussain mentioned such and such. One of his tradition was recited part of the program just 10 minutes ago. Right? If I was to say Imam Ali, if I was to say Imam Hussain, if I was to say Imam Jafar Sadiq, how many traditions have we memorized? Let me put it this way. When we talk about wajibat, we only think about fiqh. We only think about fiqh. When we talk about haram, we only think about fiqh. Haram, drinking is haram, eating non-zabiyah is haram, all of these things is haram. We think about only fiqh. When we talk about ideology, there are certain obligations. To say that Imam Hassan ﷺ is my Imam, there are certain obligations on me. Right? There's certain obligations that come by saying that Imam Hassan is my Imam. Guess what would be the minimum obligations of calling someone your leader, your Imam, your teacher, your inspiration, your role model? What would be the minimum requirement? That you would call it an obligation. That without that, there is no other option. There is no other option. Minimum requirement or an obligation would be that I should know what my teacher said. If I don't even know what my teacher said, how can he be my teacher? How is that possible? If somebody said, what did you learn from Imam Hassan ﷺ, and I'm blank, how is he my teacher? The way he will become my teacher is when somebody says, what did you learn from Imam Hassan ﷺ? The list goes on. Not one thing. And if I don't have even one, how is that okay? It is wajib on us. It is an obligation on us to memorize the traditions of Imam Masumin alayhi salam. This is the minimum requirement. After that, the same obligation goes that we need to follow those teachings that we have memorized, put them into practice, into our practical life on daily basis. Why? Because we're going to be judged with their character, with their worship, with their life, with them being a father, with them being a husband. Their lives are going to be our measuring scale for us to become successful or unsuccessful on the day of judgment. This part of our obligations we've let go. So make it, before we go further, decide this. If you have, decide this. That from today, from tonight, you're going to memorize at least 5, right, traditions from each Imam. Memorize. Not like, just memorize 5 traditions where you can tell to somebody, Imam Hassan ﷺ said such and such. 5 of them. Difficult? If you memorize 5 from each Imam, how many do you think you will have in total? 60. These 60, if you were to be able to act upon, scale on the Day of Judgment, we have some prayer. But if we don't, like, what is the scale of wudu? When Imam Hussaini used to do wudu, his face would turn yellow. His color would change. You know, like when someone is scared, all of a sudden they're scared, they go all, like their face color changes. They become pale. This is a scale of wudu. That when you do wudu, this wudu should get you in a state of mind where your color changes. People used to be able to see the clear difference. When Imam Hussaini did wudu, they would see a clear difference that his face has become pale. And they would ask, they would say, Imam Hassan, why is it that after doing wudu, you become pale? And he would answer that it is, it's a prerequisite for someone who is going in front of their Creator, who is the Lord of the universes. Right? He says it's a prerequisite. Why are you surprised? It's just as normal. For example, if you're called into the court of a tyrant, let's say, if a court of the tyrant comes, or maybe that will never happen to you, but you were speeding and the police stopped you. Right? What is the expression now? Person is shaking, thoughts are going in their mind, what will happen to my insurance, what will happen? And their facial expressions change. They become pale. Why did your facial expression change? It's because you're scared now. Right? Only for a ticket. When it comes to standing in front of your Creator, that action doesn't make us pale. It doesn't make us scared. It doesn't get us like in that state where I'm going in front of the one who has blessed me with everything. Now, if this state of wudu you start today, right, and you work towards it, maybe eventually after 20 years, 30 years of practice, you will reach that state. But if you leave that this state of wudu that Imam Hussaini used to get is something only specific to him, for me it doesn't matter. If you leave it that way, then you will never get to that state. I'll give you another, before we go into the question of what is spirituality. Part of it, all of it is answers. If somebody asks you what is the definition of being brave, right? Majority of our youths, they want to be brave, they want to project themselves as really strong, so they'll work out as well, they make their muscles, they want to have the protein shakes, they want to do all of this stuff so that other people look at them that, they're strong. Imam Hassan was asked this question and he gave a few things if you want to know if someone is brave. First thing he said was, Hifzuddin, see how this person is protecting their religion. That's the scale of bravery. So, if I'm not protecting my religion, according to Imam Hassan, measuring scale of Jawan Mardi or, Shujaat or bravery, I'm not. He said, if you want to know you're brave, see how you're protecting your religion. If you can't protect it, you're not brave. Just that simple. If you can't protect your religion, Mazallah, Imam Hassan saying, you're a coward. No matter how strong muscles you have now, no matter how tall you are, no matter what your weight scale is, Imam Hassan is saying, you're not brave. You're not strong. You're not shuja. You're not. Right? Another thing he said, the one whose shoulders are down, who's humble, See how different that is? We think that if our shoulders are up and we can walk like this is a brave person. You know what I'm saying? Someone whose shoulders are down. Humble. Humility is a sign of bravery. Arrogance is a sign of cowardness. We think that becoming arrogant is, maazallah, somehow being very strong and being brave. Another thing he said that looking at your actions, revisiting your actions is sign of bravery. So somebody came up to me and said, the majlis you recited such and such, you did not recite properly or it was wrong. Now if I'm a brave person, according to Imam Hussain, I would say, okay, let me review the video, let me take a look at it, and if I see that what I've said or I've done is wrong, then my bravery is now being tested. If I admit to it and say, yes, I did this, this was wrong, I shouldn't have done this, now Imam Hussain is saying you are a brave person. If you have looked at your action and you found that your action was not right and someone has pointed out to you and you cannot admit your mistake, Imam Hussain is saying you are not a brave person. Look at how different this scale of shujaat or bravery is. Right? He says that a brave person is the one who loves the creations of Allah. He's also, in love with the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not just specifically human beings. He loves the trees, loves the environment, right? Loves the ocean. Loves the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The environment, the state that it's in, is because we as human beings are coward. That 35% of the wilderness is remaining now. Okay? 65% of the wilderness is destroyed. 40% of the ice caps are remaining, 60% are gone. The amount of species that we have made it extinct from the face of this earth. Why? Because we're cowards. If we were in love with the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we would have protected it. It is because of human beings being coward that they've destroyed this earth. It's not a sign of bravery to destroy the earth. It's a sign of cowardness, according to Imam Hussain al-Satusam. Look how different it is. Right? And what is the reason why this environment has been destroyed? And just to make one comment and move forward, is because we are addicts of convenience and comfort. And a brave person is not an addict of neither convenience nor comfort. If you look at the whole scenario that we are in, the reason why the rainforest is gone, right? The reason why species are extinct. And we as Muslims should be more upset. Because these are the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that have been destroyed by our actions. We think this is the environmentalist scientist's duty. No, it's someone who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who loves Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's their first responsibility to protect the creations of Allah. It's because of convenience. Like now, if all of those things can come back, but in order for them to come back, we have to get out of this mode of convenience and we have to get out of our comfort zone. That's the only solution. Okay? So loving the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bravery. Hate is cowardice. Just imagine if, there's still more about bravery. But just to stop you and just imagine if 2 billion Muslims became that way. We're probably more than 2 billion. I don't know what the exact figure is. Can you imagine if 2 billion people on the face of this earth became brave according to the definition of Imam Hassan alayhi salam? This is only one saying of Imam Hassan. The whole world would change. The environment would come back to normal. Global warming, all of this stuff would finish. The animals that are extinct will start coming back. There will be nobody who will be hating each other, because the sign of a brave person is the love of each other. We will not be separating ourselves. We will not be prejudiced. We will not be saying, this is an Iraqi, this is an Afghani, this is a Pakistani, this is a Khoja, this is Urdu speaking, this is a Punjabi, this is this is that. We won't be doing that. We won't be bigots anymore. We will be protecting the boundaries of religion. And by protecting the boundaries of religion, we would be doing Amar bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar to each other. How can you protect religion if you don't do Amar bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar? To protect the religion, you have to do that. And the biggest example of that happening in the history of human beings is the event of Karbala. The Imam Hussaini sacrificed everything to do what? Amar bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar. If everybody was humble, no one was arrogant. Just imagine. Even among our own selves. You see, if human beings could act upon one saying, chalo, human beings, we won't count. 2 billion people were to act on one of the sayings of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, this world will be filled with peace, justice, fairness, love, bliss, tranquility. One hadith. Okay, forget about 2 billion people. Just the ones we are here. Just me and you. And if there are some people listening, don't know, we won't count them. Just you, for example. Because we don't know who is listening. So we can count each other here. If only us, we acted upon the saying of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Right? Imagine the difference in our community. Our houses. Our houses will become heaven. The husband is now looking at the wife, not as a wife, as a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If she says something, now you get, say, shoulders go up, the shoulders go down. Like, this is the sign of bravery. Imam Hassan said that. If she says, you haven't done such and such right, and if it is the truth, you admit to it. Say yes. Not like admitting everything and whatever she's saying. No. Right? Actually, let's say I've done something wrong, and if her and you, right, as a, if the father and the mother were protecting religion by doing Amar bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar, just imagine the change that can come in our house. We will literally have heaven in the house. You walk in, everybody's happy, everybody's tranquil, nobody's depressed, nobody's stressed, nobody's angry with each other, no one is having any animosity against each other, and they're living a perfect life. Imam also says the sign of bravery is to fulfill your promises. A brave person will fulfill their promise. A coward will run away. If you've made a promise, fulfill it. Why? Because Imam Hassan said this is bravery. You want to be brave? Then fulfill it. How many promises we have broken? How many promises have we broken? Every time we broke that promise, according to Imam Hassan, that's not a sign of bravery. Okay? So So this is only one tradition. Now I've already told you, right? I've already told you the tradition. If I was to ask you, what are the things that Imam Hassan said that if you want to be brave? Protect your religion. Humbleness. Love the whole creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Admit to your mistakes or look back at your actions and whatever the faults are. Then there's another one. That was the last one that I just said. Fulfill your promise. Now once you start doing that, the changes that will come in your life and how it will translate, then on the day of judgment, when the scale of bravery is set, you're going to be measured by that. And the closer you will be to that scale, that is how you will be successful. That is how I will be successful. Not just by saying that Imam Hassan ﷺ is my Imam, Imam Hassan ﷺ is my teacher, I believe in him as a perfect human being, that I'm going to be saved. That's not it. Just that is not it. Why? Because at the time of Imam Hassan ﷺ, there were people who said that. People around him for 10 years. Not 1 year, 10 years. They called him Imam. Right? They called him their teacher. Right? They thought of him as a perfect human being. Right? What happened to them? He sends 30,000 people, like 3 times. He sent 10,000 army to go and fight with the enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Guess what happened all 3 times? Same people who call Imam Hassan Imam, same people who call him their teacher, perfect human being, guess what happened to them? Yeah. The generals, the leaders, they got sold out. How did they get sold out? One was the promise of wealth, the other was the promise of a position, a rank, and the third was a promise of marriage. With these 3 promises, they left Imam Hassan ﷺ. Not once it happened, 3 times. And on top of that, the same people come into his tent while he's on the prayer mat, and they put a knife in his leg. Do you think they were other people? No, they were the same people. Right? Are they successful now? They're not successful. You want to go further? We can talk about Imam Hussain. We can talk about Imam Ali. We can talk about each and every single Imam. And the reason why they were martyred, the reason why they were put in prison, the reason why they have the title of Mazloom was because of the people that were around them. Don't think otherwise. Don't think otherwise. If I average out that each Imam had 10 real followers, real brave men, according to the definition of Imam Hassan, alayhi salatu wasalam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. 10 times 11 is how much? 110, that's it. In 250 years. 250 years, only 110. And if I add the number of 72 that Imam Hussain had, right? And then I add the Bani Hashim that were there in Karbala, if you add that up, you're getting close to 200. in 250 years. See, when we start thinking about these people who were around Imam Masumin, we always sort of separate ourselves. We're not those people. Then the opportunity of doing something, getting better, becoming part of those 10 people that were brave for each Imam, we lose out. Just in the contentment that we're okay, we're not those people. Like, when you look at those people, they were with the Imam. Right now, if we say that, if we don't even know one tradition of Imam Hassan alayhi salatu wasalam, how can we become part of those 10? How can we become part of becoming Hazrat Salman Farsi or Hazrat Abu Zar Ghaffari or Hazrat Jabir Abdullah Ansari? How can we even start becoming that if we don't even know one tradition of an Imam? Because of those people, Imam Hassan was Mazloom. And I think still today he's Mazloom. If we have this remorse inside or we start feeling guilty, then it's the first step of progress. Then we can move forward. If we can't do that, then on the day of judgment when the scale is set, it's too late then. Right? Okay? So don't say that you didn't know. And same goes for me. If I want to be brave, I need to get those things in my character. Otherwise, I'm not brave. Okay? If I still have the love of this world, love of money, love of power, if I still have that in my heart, if I lived at the time of Imam Hassan and I was part of that army, guess what I would have done? Same thing those guys did. History is a proof that they were not brave men. If they were brave men, they would not have left Imam Hassan. If you still think this is all, it's not right, what I'm saying is just whatever, one ear out the other. Look at us. Okay? Do we have not an Imam? Alive. Although all the Imam Masumin are alive, but do we not have an Imam right now? Imam Zaman al-Satusam? No. We do, right? Okay. He's 1188 years. Right? In 1188 years, he's still in hiding. Doesn't that say something about us? We don't think this way. Doesn't imagine one person, and I've said this before, and I don't think I've said it here, but imagine one person has 37 million relatives. The number is actually bigger than that. One person has 37 million relatives, blood relatives, that through their family tree or genealogy, Imam Zaman al-Satusam is related to them. 37 million relatives around the world, but these relatives cannot protect the life of one of their relatives. Okay? So, if someone has 10 relatives and they cannot protect the life of one, what do we say to them? Like, what's wrong with you guys? You're 10 of you and you can't protect one? Imagine 37 million. Why did Imam went into Ghaibat-e-Sughra and Kubra? At the age of 5, why did he had to hide without his father, without his mother? Why did he have to hide? Because his life was in danger. Imam Zaman would have been martyred. Even him coming into the world had to be hidden. His mother did not show the signs that she was with him. Why? Why is that? When his father is called, we have the title of him as Askari, the one who has an army. Here's a man who has an army, who have hundreds and thousands of followers, and his son's life is in danger from the time of, before even coming into this world. And then at the age of 5, as soon as his father is martyred, right, he has to go in hiding. Without anyone. Without having his mother with him, father with him, or any friends, any followers, nobody. For 70 years, he had contact with some of the people, but for 70 years, on his own. And then even no contact whatsoever, Ghaibat Kubra started. For 1100 and, close to 1200 years. 1100 years, 1110 years. Does this not say something about us? We always put it, oh, this earthquake hasn't happened, this flood hasn't happened, this particular thing hasn't happened yet, so therefore Imam is not coming yet. That's not the case. You want more? Do you want more? If somebody says to you, you have to go back home, we can't stay here anymore. You have to go back home. Be okay, I'll go. Go back home meaning back from where we originated. If going there is, becomes a matter of difficulty, that, there's no convenience there, there's no comfort there, all of the things that we're used to right now, that we have attached ourselves so much that we're not willing to go back from where we originated. This also tells us something of our state of affairs or iman that we're in. When we're not willing to take that difficulty, can you imagine when the Imam comes? When the Imam Zaman, I'm connecting it to Imam Hassan and his environment, because that environment exists right now too. All of the Imam's environment exists today. Okay? Maslan, Imam comes and physically is not what you thought he should be. He's standing near Khana Kaaba. He's got a sword in his hand. Zulfiqar is in his hand. And CNN or the different other news media are now calling him that, okay, some guy is there wielding the sword. And he's saying that I'm here to take the revenge of the blood of my grandfather. And there are other 300 and such people around him. And they are, saying, Ya Tharat al-Hussain. They're saying these, these slogans. And then, who is he? He is the Imam of the Shias. Okay? He's the Imam of the Shias. And now they come to you and ask you, are you a Shia? What will you say? If you say, yes, I'm a Shia, that's your Imam. He's the one with the sword in his hand, wielding it and saying, I'm going to take the revenge of the blood of my grandfather. And there are these 300 people that are, sort of, let's say, quote unquote terrorists. And this guy is waving flags and he's saying, Ya Tharat al-Hussain. Like on the flags it says, revenge of the blood of Imam Hussain. And he's a Shia. And he's the leader of you guys. What is your opinion about that? Do you condone this? Do you support it? What do you say? Hey, what do we say? So when the environment is such, when the environment is of fear, is of anxiety, of stress, of now being associated to someone like him, where these people are going to be now looking at you differently, than they did before. How many of us are going to be just, willing to say that we are a Shia? Because what is the thoughts going to come? Maybe that's not him. Because physically it doesn't look like. His color, it doesn't, it's not very, for example, like what I thought. His color is a bit short, a shade darker. So I don't think he could be Imam, Or his hair is way too long. He's not wearing a baqaba. If he was the Imam, he should be wearing a baqaba. He has no mama on his head. Right? He's wearing regular clothes. Right? And so far this sign hasn't come, that sign hasn't come. These sort of governments that were supposed to collapse, they're still there. So maybe it's not him. So what's the best thing to do? What's the best thing to do? We're not Shia. This can happen to us anytime. My brothers and sisters, this can happen to us anytime. Friday, not necessarily. Tomorrow, this can happen to us. What would we do? All the, you're a Shia, where are you going? So if you have to go out. And now, with the pandemic, you can't travel internationally. Right? Only essential. You are at the immigration officer. Our immigration officer says, where are you going? I'm going to Masan, Saudi, or I'm going to Makkah. What are you going for? Oh, is it essential for you to go? Do you have any work there? No, I'm actually going to go and join, the army of this guy that you're showing on CNN. They let you go? You see, the reason why I took about 20 minutes to elaborate this, because we are not ready. We are in a state, it even seems like a state of sleepiness. We're not ready. And when this comes to us, and it is going to come to us as a surprise, the ones who are brave, they will be able to try their very best to get there. The one who is not brave, they will not be able to move. And guess who is brave and who is a coward now? By whose definition? Imam Hassan. So if I cannot do Hifzuddin, I cannot protect my religion, I don't have, humility, right? I'm breaking my promises, right? I'm not in love with the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I cannot admit my mistake, right? If those things that Imam Hassan has said, that these are the things, if you want to know as a brave person, and I don't have those qualities, now I might think I'm a brave person, but actually I'm not. So, my brothers and sisters, just look at our own lives, that what did we get from Imam Hussain? If only today's, this one tradition of Imam Hussain, if you've understood and you prepare yourself to become brave, you are going to be definitely tested. And that test can be tomorrow. So don't take it easy or let it go that I'll do it tomorrow. It's already late. Okay? The time is already here. This is the end of days, end of humanity. We are at the brink of either we're going to climb up to the heights or we're going to sink to the lowest. There's no other time. Okay? Now, the question of what is spirituality and so forth, we'll go more in detail in the next, few hours that we're with you. But the other thing that actually can motivate you to become a brave person is the sacrifice of Imam Hussain. The sacrifice of Imam Hussain, the sacrifice of the Kufa and Sham can motivate you. Imam Hassan's martyrdom can motivate you. Okay? When we look at these times are sort of associated when the caravan came back home. Okay? They say there were 50 children that started from Medina in this caravan. Okay. And only 20 came back. 30 of them, you can find some of the graves on the way from Kufa, from Karbala to Kufa. That these children who were in the hands of their mothers, whose hands were tied, these children fell from the camel. Okay? So the mother is looking at this child who's going to stay in the desert. Maybe there will be animals there. It's going to get cold over there. My child is going to cry and there's going to be no one in the desert. This is the last time that I'm seeing my child now. As the camel would go, the mother is looking at this child being left alone in the desert. And she knows that these are the last moments that I'm going to see my child alive. Then there were some children that were trampled in with the hoofs of the horses. Okay. Then some of the children died from Kufa to Sham. One of the child that died in a prison, right, we know her as Sakin. She was only 4 years old, and in this very short life of 4 years, she had seen things that people would not expect to see even in 1,000 years. Nobody would think that at the age of 4, she would have to see the severed head of her father on a spear. That she would have to see the severed head of her uncle on a spear. That in this caravan that she has been made as a prisoner, 72 heads on the spear are going to follow her. That as she goes through this caravan, that her arms are going to be tied. Her neck is going to be in a rope. Her clothes are going to get burned. That her earrings are going to be snatched. That her face is going to become warm from the slaps. But after being hungry and thirsty, she's going to be having to walk from Kufa to Sham through 14 cities as a prisoner. If you can see, this little child was 4 years old in a dungeon. And this 4-year-old child would ask their mother, "Where are these birds going?" And the mother would say, "They're going home." And this child would reply, "Mother, when are we going to go home? That these birds are allowed to go home. When are we going to go home?" But the saddest part is that this wish of this 4-year-old child did not come true. She never got to go home. In the same dungeon, in the same prison, she died, holding the head of her father. Bibi Sakina never came back home. Oh Allah, these tears that have come from our eyes, they are a sign that we have a heart that can be empathetic, that can cry, that is still soft enough, that has a bit of love for the ones that you love. It is a sign that we're still alive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through your love and your mercy, please give us an opportunity to become brave. Allah, please give us an opportunity to become ready for the Imam. Allah, please count us among those people that are the true followers of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. Much means.
अलविदा 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 ख्वाहरा खुदा हाफिज अलविदा बहन ज़ैनब अलविदा बहन ज़ैनब अलविदा बहन ज़ैनब अलविदा बहन ज़ैनब ज़ैनब हज़ीने मन ज़ैनब हज़ीने मन ख्वाहरा खुदा अलविदा दूरी दातन अलविदा दूरी दातन ख्वाहरा खुदा हाफिज मन के भी अलमदारम बे मुइनो बे यारम मन के भी अलमदारम बे मुइनो बे यारम अज हयात बेजारम ख्वाहरा खुदा हाफिज ज़ैनब हज़ीने मन ए मेरी बहन ज़ैनब घर तेरे हवाले हैं जो लायक सजदा है सर उसके हवाले है जो लायक सजदा है सर उसके हवाले है बस चलने को है खंजर बस चलने को है खंजर ख्वाहरा खुदा हाफिज ज़ैनब हज़ीने मन کہنا میرے نانا سے گھر بار لٹایا ہے، اس طرح نواسے نے وعدے کو نبھایا ہے، اس طرح نواسے نے وعدے کو نبھایا ہے۔ سر ہے میرا نیزے پر، سر ہے میرا نیزے پر، خواہرہ خدا حافظ زینب حزین من۔ تم بعد میرے زینب مشکل سے نہ گھبرانا، عباس جری بن کر ہر ظلم سے ٹکرانا، عباس جری بن کر ہر ظلم سے ٹکرانا۔ ای جان و دل حیدر، ای جان و دل حیدر، خواہرہ خدا حافظ زینب حزین۔ زینب میری بیٹی کو ہر غم سے بچا لینا، جب روئے سکینہ تو گودی میں سلا لینا، جب روئے سکینہ تو گودی میں سلا لینا۔ کم سن ہے میری دختر، کم سن ہے میری دختر، خواہرہ خدا حافظ زینب۔ الوداع الوداع خواہرہ خدا حافظ یا حسین۔
زندان میں تڑپایا معصومہ سکینہ کو، زندان میں تڑپایا معصومہ سکینہ کو، زندان میں تڑپایا معصومہ سکینہ کو۔ کیوں شمر ستمگر کو اس چھوٹی سی بچی پہ ہے رحم نہ آیا، معصومہ سکینہ کو زندان میں تڑپایا معصومہ سکینہ۔ شبیر جسے اپنے سینے پہ سلاتا تھا، شبیر جسے اپنے سینے پہ سلاتا تھا، ٹوٹے ہوئے پتھروں پہ اس نازوں کی پالی کو امت نے سلایا، معصوم سکینہ کو زندان میں تڑپایا معصوم سکینہ کو۔ تربت میں ابھی تک یہ تنہائی سے ڈرتی ہے، تربت میں ابھی تک یہ تنہائی سے ڈرتی ہے، زندہ کے اندھیرے میں ایک غم زدہ بی بی کو اتنا ہے ڈرایا، معصومہ سکینہ کو زندان میں تڑپایا معصومہ سکینہ کو۔ یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین حسین حسین، اللہم صلی علی محمد و آلہ